getting to the here and now, I mean, just this past week, we saw protests outside of Park East Synagogue in Manhattan that the Justice Department immediately reacted to. And we've seen statements, even as we're talking right now, from the Assistant Attorney General for Civil Rights, Harmeet Dillon, about wanting to investigate exactly what took place. How serious of an incident do you feel that is, where you're seeing these anti-Israel, oftentimes anti-Semitic protesters right on the doors of synagogues now?
I find it offensive. I find it illegal. And let me address something very clearly. There is an investigation going on right as we speak. I was in contact with federal agencies, and I can tell you for a fact an investigation is going to take place. Why? Personally, because we don't trust the city of New York to do the right thing. The city of New York has an affirmative obligation to protect Jewish Americans, law enforcement and the district attorney. Where's Alvin Bragg? I haven't heard his name at all. And the federal government, this administration, Pam Bondi, will not allow Jewish Americans to be denied their right to practice their religion. And it is an ongoing investigation. It's my intention to speak to the rabbi of that synagogue very soon.
In terms of what's going on in New York, President Trump recently met with the mayor-elect of New York, Zohran Mamdani. Do you feel come January this situation is going to worsen?
Time will tell. I'm going to personally give you my opinion. I don't think there is any prior indication that Mamdani is going to protect Jewish Americans. I'll give him a break until January 1st to see what he does. But I can assure you of this. This administration will not allow anti-Semitism to exist in New York City if this mayor turns his back on the Jewish American community. President Trump will take decisive action, and law enforcement and the weight of the Department of Justice will be in New York City. I can guarantee you of that.
In terms of, you said a moment ago, the protest was illegal, and I know there are laws on the books about blocking access to clinics and houses of worship and things of that nature. I mean, this has been the question that's been going on for a long time now. Where exactly does that line get drawn between protest, freedom of assembly, freedom of speech, and this anti-Semitic activity that's affecting houses of worship, people to exercise their own rights? Where does that line get drawn?
Well, every case is unique and every case is different. And the key here is this: you cannot deny access. So right now, the question is, let's gather the information, let's talk to the witnesses, let's talk to those who were there, eyewitnesses, let's look at the videotape, and then I can assure you, the FBI, the U.S. Attorney's Office will look and see if there's a valid case to pursue to criminally charge these individuals. To me, on face value, I'm going to wait and reserve judgment until all the evidence is in.
Speaking of that, I want to talk about the process for the Office of Civil Rights, because during the course of the year, we've seen reductions in staff within the Justice Department, specifically within the Office of Civil Rights. How have those cutbacks, if at all, affected this department's ability to investigate cases of anti-Semitism, cases of hate crimes, and things of that nature?
Zero, because I'll tell you why. It's a priority for this president, by way of an executive order, the creation of the task force that I head, and the Civil Rights Division. Any cutbacks in staff will have zero effect on pursuing hate crimes that are targeted not only at Jews, but any protected class status. I can assure the Jewish American community that President Trump and Pam Bondi will not allow anti-Semitism to take place. And I guarantee you, the resources are there, the energy is there, and as far as I'm concerned, the 24/7 commitment is there.
How have those investigations been going? We've seen a lot of talk on the anti-Semitism front in terms of university campuses. Some have settled with the Justice Department, legal settlements. Others are challenging it in the courts, but there are always active cases, active investigations. Give us, if you can, kind of an overview of the progress of those investigations.
This president has directed the Department of Justice and the Civil Rights Division to pursue all avenues. So you correctly stated it. There are active litigated cases, there are current investigation into universities and college, and there are people trying to settle their cases. There's a collection, and the commitment is a 3-year commitment until this administration has completed its obligation. We're not taking any shortcuts This is ongoing. So there is a full frontal attack on making sure that this type of anti-Semitism no longer exists at schools and no longer exists at universities, and we're expanding our efforts to make sure K-12, the anti-Semitic curriculum, we're going after every aspect of anti-Semitism, and that's why this president is committed to fighting anti-Semitism completely with the help of Pam Bondi.
This administration, in a lot of different sectors, takes a maximalist position when it goes up against an adversary or somebody that it wants to tackle. And it starts with very high demands and then kind of works its way down from there. That's been the MO for President Trump through 2 terms in office now. In terms of the anti-Semitism cases on campus, we've seen those demands in the tens, sometimes hundreds of billions of dollars in wanting to settle these legal cases. Some universities have acquiesced, others, though, are challenging those in the courts. What is your feeling as to how successful the Trump administration is going to be getting these cases successfully through the courts? Because some judges so far have, expressed reservations about the kind of the legal legs that these cases are leaning on.
Well, let me tell you right now, President Trump has like a 92% winning record at the Supreme Court. So let's give them these initial victories at the district court level. President Trump is going all the way. He's not going to stop at the district court level or the Court of Appeals level. And I can guarantee you that President Trump is going to pursue every avenue legally, and if it takes up to the Supreme Court, he will do it. And his winning record at the Supreme Court is very, very good. And that's why these universities, before they get to the Supreme Court, many of them will try to resolve these cases.
Is there any concern at all? Because it's not just anti-Semitism that the administration is trying to tackle on these campuses. It's things like faculty that kind of are out of control to some extent. Middle East studies departments that have lost their way in terms of their attitude toward Israel and with the truth in general. Do you feel that there is a reaction from the court system to an overreach, that maybe it's too much of trying to control the academic platform?
Well, let me tell you right now, the answer to your question is no. Because if these faculties are violating civil rights under Title VI, Title VII, where you have faculty members being harassed because of their Jewish belief, Jewish religion, no way there is too much overreach. In my opinion, we're not aggressive enough, because some of these schools, some of these universities are allowing this to occur, this anti-Semitic behavior that basically occurs. Not only students are being attacked, but faculty members. And the curriculum, which I think should be really reviewed, has a tendency to have an anti-Semitic bias, which I find offensive and wrong. These universities have been used to indoctrinate hate, and now they're targeting K-12. And what I feel that if there's going to be a settlement, make sure there's safeguards in place where kids, students, faculty members, and anyone who's of Jewish religion not be intimidated or harassed on any college campus. And that goes for K-12 as well.
The flip side of that, I'm interested in your opinion on this specifically, because I feel like of any Trump administration official, you've probably been closer than anybody to the Jewish community this year since the president retook office. There's a case right now with the University of Pennsylvania where the Trump administration is requesting the records and documents and personal information of Jewish students, Jewish faculty, in order to pursue anti-Semitic cases and allegations of discrimination. Yet some of those faculty and students say, hey, list of Jewish students, that sets off alarm bells. How do you react to those faculty and staff, even in a situation where the administration means well, that they're saying, hey, we don't want lists of Jewish students and faculties being forced out of the university?
Well, I'm sure I haven't seen the the arguments pro and con, but there's privacy issues, and I'm sure that there are issues that can provide the requested information and yet protect certain privacy rights. I'm assuming that some of the objections are not based on the Trump administration's goal to fight anti-Semitism, but related to areas that goes outside that, and I would think of privacy issues, and not to set a precedent for something that is unrelated to the cause of this particular action, fighting anti-Semitism.
The investigation still ongoing of many large university systems, including the University of California. We've seen some other systems fall under that purview as well. Are you? It seems like the administration started with the big ones, the Ivies, the elites, the big school systems like California. Was this kind of a conscious decision on the part of the administration? Let's go big to start with. Let's pick up our victories, and then we can kind of work our way around the country to some of the smaller schools, or those smaller schools are just not on the radar because there's only so much attention that can really be paid at once?
That's a very good question. You go after the big schools, but you go after wherever there's a problem. The big schools obviously get the notoriety. The schools on the East Coast, the Columbia, on the West Coast, you got the UC system, the largest university system in the country. Those are big targets, and you want to go after them. But trust me, between the East Coast and the West Coast, there's the Midwest, there's up north, there's the South, and anti-Semitism has to be eradicated everywhere, everywhere. So again, you make your strategy going after the big university, provide a deterrent effect, but trust me, this phone never stops ringing because problems wherever they may be, Northwestern, in Washington, in the South, we're going to go there because we have to eliminate anti-Semitism. President Trump, General Bondi are committed to fighting anti-Semitism.
Just last week, you were invited to an event where the National Task Force, this is separate from the Justice Department, the Trump administration Task Force on Anti-Semitism, a private task force which kind of removed itself from under the umbrella of the Heritage Foundation, held a meeting. And this meeting was to focus on anti-Semitism within the Republican Party, right-wing anti-Semitism. They basically said, listen, the Democrats, they let it fester in their party. They didn't speak up. We, being Republicans, need to speak up. You spoke at that event. What was the message to that particular group?
That's a very good question. I'm glad you asked. I don't care if anti-Semitism is on the left or right. Anti-Semitism is wrong. I personally will go after wherever it's at. And I think regardless if it's a Democrat or a Republican, this administration won't tolerate it. And so my words were very simple. My goal, because of the job the president and Pam Bondi gave me, is to go after anti-Semitism and get rid of it. And if it's in the same party, so be it. But I am not going to give one preference over another simply because one's an R and one's a D. Anti-Semitism is wrong, and this administration will root it out anywhere and everywhere they find it. Personally, that's my job.